Hey there and welcome. Thanks for joining me. If this is your first time to my channel, I hope you consider subscribing. And don't forget to click on that bell button so you can be notified every time I upload a new video. So for today's tutorial, you're going to need one of these half circle signs. And if you can't find any right now, because they usually have them for all seasons, but if you can't find one, just go ahead and use some cardboard or one of the project boards that you can get at Dollar Tree and just cut out the circle size that you like, the half circle. And what I did was paint the back of my sign. I gave it 2 coats of just white oops paint that you can get at any of your hardware stores. They typically have these smaller jars there. So just go ahead and give it your 2 coats and then set it aside and allow it to dry. While that's drying, we're going to make 2 different kinds of Christmas ornaments. The first one, we're going to use one of these topiary dome that you can get at your Dollar Tree. At least I know we still have them in my local Dollar Tree. You're also going to use one of these stems and just basically pull everything apart that you think you're going to use inside your dome. I'm also going to use one of these acorns and also one of these pieces of wood branch that you can get at Dollar Tree. And what you're going to do is just basically start gluing everything into your dome, starting from the back and working your way towards the front. But make sure, or at least what I did, was add my greenery to the back of the dome, and then I started working my way towards the front. This is a good project. Any of these Christmas ornaments are good projects for like the little extra spare pieces that you have that you've saved. You can just simply add them into any of these Christmas ornaments. So once you start playing with your dome and adding whatever you'd like to add into it, these red berries are also from the same stem. I'm just pulling them apart, adding some inside on top of my piece of branch, just to give it that little pop of red. Since, like I said, basically most of my Christmas ornaments are going to be more like of the rustic woodland style. What I ended up doing, once I was happy with everything inside my dome, I decided to get some jute twine and make a bow to add to the top of my dome. Once you've added your bow, just go ahead and make sure you're happy with the length of the tails. And what I did was add some berries to the center of my bow. And there you have your dome. You can leave it as is, but what I decided to do was go ahead and add some Epsom salt inside. I usually use the like scented lavender or any other kind of scent, mint, but I like using different scents of the Epsom salt, and it kind of gives a nice smell to your tree. So what I'm going to do is just basically add as much as I think it needs, and then just go ahead and set that aside. Now, at first I had thought about using these little deers, and I know I'm going to use them for something else, but I ended up changing my mind. And what I decided to do instead with this Christmas ornament was just add some greenery from the same stem that I used for my other Christmas ornament. And then I put some pine cones. Now these are the smallest pine cones I got from the bag of the scented cinnamon cones that you can get at Dollar Tree right now. There's quite a few in a bag, but these are the smallest ones from that bag. And I simply just added some in with my greenery, and I glued one to a piece of the greenery as well. And as you can tell, I removed the bigger piece of greenery and just used the one that was stuck with the pine cone. I also added an acorn. And now what I'm going to do is add my Epsom salt as well into this Christmas ornament. And using the paper, I'm just going to go ahead and add my Epsom salt. Once you're happy with the amount you've added, go ahead and add the top back to your Christmas ornament. Now, these are kind of flimsy, so if you like or you're scared that it'll come apart, go ahead and add some glue to the top part of your Christmas ornament. Using some red ribbon, I went ahead and just made a simple bow. And then I added another little pine cone and just basically added whatever I had. One of these little Christmas ball white ones that I said that I had gotten on a stem, and then a little piece of the greenery. But this is totally optional. You can just make a red bow or any color bow and add it to your Christmas ornament. And I'm simply just going to glue it onto the top. And here you have another simple and fast, and I think pretty Christmas ornament. And here's both of them together. Now, once the sign is dry, what I used was some of this yarn that I had gotten at my local thrift store, but you can get these, I believe even Dollar Tree has different colored yarn right now. But you can also get it at Walmart. It's only a few dollars. And what I'm using is one of these signs, but you can use anything just to wrap your yarn around. Now this sign, I love it. This sign, I'm actually just going to leave it as is and use it for my Christmas decorations also. But just go ahead and wrap your yarn around anything that you have on the size, depending on the size, the length of yarn that you want to use. I just continued to wrap it until I couldn't wrap any more onto this sign. Now I'm going to flip the sign over, making sure that my painted side is towards the bottom. And I'm going to actually glue the yarn to the side of where the American sign. So just make sure whichever side you want to use for the front, you flip it over and glue your yarn to the back of it. And I tried to glue the yarn different ways, and I actually liked it this way better. I cut it, wrapped it around my sign, and then cut it and held it with in between my fingers, and then just glued it that way. That way it would stay nice and straight. And I continued to do this throughout the entire sign until it was completely full of yarn. If you're going to do this project, let me know in the comments down below what color of yarn you're going to use. I'm actually thinking of making another one with white yarn. And if I do make it and you guys follow me on Instagram, you'll see a picture of both of them together. But my thoughts are of making one with white yarn as well. So once you're done adding all your yarn to your sign, go ahead and flip it over and allowing the yarn to be over your sign. Just like this, and kind of straighten them all out, making sure that none of them are curled up or anything. And what you're going to do is basically follow your circle sign and then trim it. Trim your yarn. And just take your time making sure that, they're all staying in place. Holding your yarn with one hand while you cut with the other one is the best way I saw to do this part. So once it's done, just go ahead and flip it over. Make sure they're all basically even. And it had a lot of static, so just be careful with that part. So just go ahead and brush your yarn down, making sure it's all even. And what I did was flip over the sign over my yarn this time so I could see the sign part to trim whatever wasn't even. Now, some of the pictures that I saw of projects like this were the yarn was really long. So, but I didn't want that. I just wanted it to kind of look like a circle. So I ended up deciding to cut it the same shape as my sign. Just a slightly longer because of the way I flipped it over. So once you're happy with that, what I ended up doing was adding a piece of the extra yarn that I had already cut out and to the bottom of my half circle, just so it can look have more of a finished look, because you could still see the bottom part of the sign. And if it doesn't bother you, you can just easily skip this part. But it was kind of bothering me, so I ended up adding a piece of yarn right at the end of my sign. I saw some similar ones, like I said, with the length longer, and I saw them, I believe it was on the website from Anthropology, but I'm not too sure, so don't take my word for it. But I did see it on one of the websites of one of the department stores. But they weren't for Christmas or holidays. It was just a modern style wall hanging that you could purchase. But when I saw them, I thought it would look really cute as a Christmas DIY. So what I'm doing here is basically hanging my snowflakes that you can get from Dollar Tree in about 10, I think there are 10 or 8 of them in a pack. And I just painted them moss green from Apple Barrel Paint. And I painted 4 of them, just trying to figure out how to place them onto my half circle. And what I wanted to do was, there was 2 circles where the rope hanging was from on the sign, and what I want to do is cover it. So I made sure I added 2 of the snowflakes, one on either side, and then I just kind of played with the other 2 to try to figure out where to place them. So I ended up adding 1 in the center, and then my 4th and final snowflake, what I did was cut it in half. And add my pieces to the ends of my circle. So here you have 3 different Christmas holiday decors that you can use on your tree, on your wall, or even the Christmas ornaments don't necessarily have to be on your tree. You can easily use them for your bathroom decor, any little shelf that you have that you want to add some Christmas spirit to. Now, what I used to hang it was the same jute twine that it came with. I basically just glued it to the opposite side and then allowed it to dry. And here is how my ornaments look close up. And here's my hanging. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Until next time, you guys stay blessed.